Hey everyone, this is Craig Cannings here from VAClassroom.com, and it's a pleasure of mine to be here with you today, talking about a topic that has meant a lot to me over the last years, and it's meant a lot to our business as well. And thank you for joining us for our social media success master class. This is, I guess, the first one that we've done, or at least in a while, of this magnitude, and I think you're in for a real treat tonight. We have been in the business of training in the social media space since 2008. Some of you, if you were in our first program back in '08, maybe just say, hey, yeah, I was there in the chat area. I'm just going to make sure you can see. Go ahead and just in the chat area, you should be able to just introduce yourself and say hi. I'm going to bring up the list so everyone can see each other. Everyone can see each other. And so feel free and go ahead and chat, introduce yourself, let us know where you're calling in from. I see a lot of familiar names, and it's just great to have you with us today. Also wanted to introduce you to a colleague of mine who is now a partner in my business, a couple businesses that we own, and just want to introduce you to Paul Maxey. And Paul is just a great guy. Has a great copywriting and marketing background, and he is going to be joining me and doing a variety of things within VA Classroom and other things that we do. And so he's with us today. He's in the, I think under VA Classroom, I think his name is. Will be, if you have any tech issues or if you have any questions, I'll certainly get to a lot of your questions throughout our time today. But he's a person a great guy that you can interact with as well. I mean, he's even as great a guy as I am, and you'd be hard-pressed to find. No, just kidding. We're just pleased to be able to bring you this event tonight. And so the title of our event is Social Media Success 2015 Masterclass. And oh yeah, good. Heather's here. We got someone, Shelly from Kansas City, first-timer. Yeah, Roxanne from Florida. Michelle from Strathroy, Ontario. Lots of great names coming in here. I am not the best multitasker in the world, so I'm not going to try to do two things at once here. But a couple housekeeping items before we begin and really sink into some great content. I think you're going to get a lot of value from our time today. And so step number one, first thing I need you to do is hopefully you've been able to print out that template that I sent out, and I can probably bring it up for you. Just going to bring up a copy of it for you while we're, just one sec, I'm going to go flip over to screen. So download that template. You would have received it a couple different times, and that template's your guide for our time today. And so I'm just going to bring this up here. I believe this is the one. Let me just flip over to, actually, no, that's not the one. You know what? I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to try to find that one at this time. But so it's the social media template. It has kind of the fill-in-the-blank guide that's going to kind of help us navigate our time today. So be sure you printed that out and have easy access to it right beside you. So that's step number one. Step number two is you will see that, and I believe, Paul, it's up there in our chat at the top, that you can download the 30-point checklist. So I've created a social media success checklist. It's basically 30 steps. We cover 30 steps and 7 platforms, from Instagram to Pinterest to LinkedIn to Google+, to Facebook, to Twitter, to YouTube. I think that's all of them. And provide some really actionable things that you can take and apply right to your business. You can apply right to the work you're doing with your clients, and that's all free. So it's the, and thanks, Paul, for putting that up. The Master Planner Guide is there as well. You can download that and start to print that out if you haven't already. And you can also access the checklist, and it'll be available for you in the chat area. You'll see that later on. And I'll email it out as well. Don't try to read it right now because it's a lot of content, but it's a great resource. I'm glad to be able to give that to you and just enjoy that content, and I hope you can apply it to your work. So back to the story again. Yes, I started training in the social media space in 2008. I knew that it was growing. I knew people were wondering about what Facebook was all about and what Twitter was all about and what implications it was going to have for their business. And boy, I tell you, I had no idea that first course we did and the first training we did was going to take off. And we've trained thousands of students in 40 countries in the social media space, and it kind of blows my mind. And it's neat. Not only that is cool, but it's neat to see how so many have gone on to build full-time businesses just delivering social media services, as consultants, as specialists, as VAs, whatever, professionals, whatever term you call it. A lot of people are calling themselves social media community managers now. And so I know our courses has been a catalyst for you kind of launching new income streams and launching social media service businesses. So that is extremely rewarding. So this whole training kind of channel in our business means a heck of a lot to me. And it's been a pleasure to be able to train many of you for a lot of years. And we want to be your kind of social media development hub for all your training, because it's hard to keep up. It's a runaway train, as we've talked about. And, humbly speaking, I think we do it as good as, if not better than most, in terms of the kind of systematic, practical, step-by-step training that is really geared for the social media service provider, the person that's delivering social media services. That is our audience, and if you are looking to kind of ramp up this service or even develop your own social media platform, you are definitely in the right place tonight. All right, so great to have you with us. Please post your comments and questions as we go along, and my colleague and partner Paul Maxey's with us. He'll be helping you along, and I'll be getting to your questions as well. And wow, great, nice to see so many people out tonight from all over the world, which is great. Okay, so I'd like to begin. So take your template, your handout, your class workbook, we call it, and we're going to get to the very first part. And I want to talk a bit about 3 trends, and I'm going to dive in. I'm going to kind of go back and forth from my slide deck presentation, and you're going to see me some of the time, which I hope's okay. And I'm going to dive in and do some teaching from my slide deck as well. So lots to cover today. So let's grab that template and let's dive right into it. Let's not mess around because we've got lots to cover. I want you to make sure you download that checklist, and I've got something great and exciting, obviously, I want to share with you a little later on. So stay glued to this iPad or tablet or laptop or whatever, desktop, whatever you're using. Stick to this. You will be glad that you stayed around. So let's talk about 3 top social media trends for 2015. And your first thought might be, well, Craig, there's probably more than 3. There is actually. If you had followed a lot of the blog posts at the end of the year, there's lots of trends, and there's a lot of social media trend spotters out there that are talking about the latest, greatest, exciting things that are going to happen in the social media space, and I'm one of them. But I want to highlight 3 that I think are the most pivotal. There's a big word. Pivotal towards your success here in 2015. And let's dive right into it. So grab your template and let's start to fill these out. So number 1, and I will bring up my slide deck to give you a summary if you want to just. But if you want to listen and write, if you can multitask, do that, or I'll have a summary for you in a minute. But 3 social media trends. Number 1, social media advertising, promoted tweets, Facebook ads, YouTube video ads, all of those will be unavoidable in 2015 with, again, Facebook and Twitter leading the charge. Pinterest is building an ad platform as well, or has built one. And so we're seeing all these social media channels ultimately needing to make money. A lot of them did their IPOs, with Twitter and Facebook and Facebook, I should say, and needing to obviously really build up their revenues, and obviously they're attaching advertising models to that. So it's going to be unavoidable. We see the declining statistics of how much playing time our Facebook posts get in the news feed. It seems to be less and less. Some people are saying it's 10%. Some people are saying it's 6%. Some people are saying it's up as high as 16%. Where our news feed is being kind of inundated with a lot of sponsored ads, promoted posts, things like that. And so that's just the way Facebook's going. It doesn't mean, and I'll talk a bit about this later, but it doesn't mean that your content falls on deaf ears, that nobody sees it. They certainly do. It's just it's putting out your free content, your regular content, in conjunction with an advertising model. And obviously your clients will have differing budgets depending on what they can do. And so that's a big trend. It's going to be a part of your social media strategy in terms of not only the content marketing that they're developing and the publishing that they're doing and the conversation building they're doing in the social media channels, but also coming up with really cool Facebook ads that are very targeted and that engage their audience. So there's a lot of business owners that have been avoiding it, but the reality is Facebook ads can convert really well. They can be more cost effective than, let's say, using pay-per-click Google AdWords. And so it offers huge opportunity, and I think I wouldn't call it a gold rush. Maybe they used to call Google AdWords years ago the gold rush, where people were paying just a penny per click for search, for bidding on search ads. So certainly Google is not at that level, but it's growing and it's significant, and it's something you and your clients need to consider. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. So social media advertising is unavoidable. That's trend number 1. Trend number 2 is micro video will become the content of choice, led by Vine and Instagram. Do y'all use Vine? Do I got some Vine users in the group? Do you like Vine? Some of you are active in Instagram now, which is great. Instagram is the fastest growing social network in the last 6 months. I don't know if you knew that. It's just growing in leaps and bounds. It's a key player, and it needs to be a key part of your client's social media strategy. Many are not doing it. It's kind of like uncharted territory for you to kind of build that into your service and coach your clients on how they can leverage Instagram in pretty innovative and profound ways. And so micro video is a big deal. If you go down your news feed in Facebook, obviously the videos are set on autoplay. When you scroll down, the video just plays. And so these quick 10-second, 20-second, 30-second videos, and a lot of times in my news feed, on my personal news feed, they're very novel things, funny things or dog tricks or whatever people are posting. But then for us as entrepreneurs and for your clients, it could be a great strategy for quick hit tips, just quick short bursts of great and valuable content that adds value to the audience. Okay, it's not just reserved for the funny dog tricks of the videos. It's also for people that want to make an impact on their audience and give and educate them on a micro level, kind of, if you want to call it micro education or micro learning, quick tips that people learn one thing from you in maybe 10, 15 seconds. That's a really key strategy, I think, for a lot of your clients that are going to be using social media this year. Micro video will be the content of choice, and it's led by Vine and Instagram, certainly YouTube as well. Number 3, Google Plus will experience serious decline as a result of ending Google authorship. Some of you might not understand what Google, or not have heard what Google authorship is. Let me give you a 30-second 101. Google authorship was when Google would come up with the ability to link your Google Plus profile with your blog, and when you put, let's say, your Google Plus URL on your blog, and then you connected your blog to it, you eventually established what was called authorship, so that when your blog post came up in search listings, your nice little photo from your Google Plus profile came up with maybe your stats on your profile. So what it did is it really raised the visibility of your content, almost raised the credibility too. So when people are searching in all these text-based listings, they say, hey, who's that? Who's that guy? Who's that image? And it would basically be designating you as an author that Google kind of approves. Well, they did away with it a number of months ago, and so that's a blow for a lot of us content creators that maybe use Google Plus to try to ignite visibility in the search engines and establish ourselves under that kind of authorship category. But in saying that, a lot of people think, okay, it's the trend and the prediction is that it's going to be in serious decline. I don't think it's going to ever be a Twitter or a Facebook. It's not going to be used in the same way, but I think I put it as a trend because this is what people are saying. I think it will go through some decline. That's true. But I think it will rebound, and because of Google Hangouts and other things that Google Plus offers, I think it's going to become something a little different, because Google Plus, our search listings, our Google Plus little posts show up much easier in the search listings, obviously, than our Facebook posts and our tweets. And so it's a great way to just generate search engine visibility. And so a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners know that. And Google Plus Local is huge in terms of finding restaurants and local businesses. So I think Google Plus is going to stick around I think they'll definitely focus and be more popular with local businesses. But I think there's some real value that we can pull from them still. Okay, so those are the three trends, and I'm going to just bring up a slide for you so you can, and I'll come back and visit you later. So I'm going to go to my screen share here and just bring this up, and hopefully everyone is seeing my screen. And this, if you didn't write it down, this is a quick summary. Social media will be, advertising will be unavoidable in 2015. Micro video will be the content of choice. Google Plus will experience, maybe I shouldn't even put decline, because I'm under the belief that it won't experience serious decline. Actually, it will be more of a moderate decline, and I think it will change the way that we approach our Google Plus strategy. And that's why it's important to stay close to us, because I've got some pretty good ideas on how you could use Google Plus for your clients heading into the next year here. So stick around for that. Okay, and the bonus one, I didn't give you the bonus. So there's three. You could write the bonus one down on your template there. Social media will finally be embraced as the pillar of content marketing. Okay, so it's no longer the side dish or the hors d'oeuvre or the appetizer. It is the pillar. It's the meat and potatoes of your content marketing strategy. When you think about content marketing, and by definition, the content marketing has two parts to it. It's got the creation part and it's got the distribution part. Okay, the creation part is obviously we're creating podcasts and videos and blog posts and social media posts and the list and videos. And I said videos. That's how popular videos is. I need to include it twice. But we're creating all this content, but we need a distribution funnel for our content to go viral on the web. And that's where businesses obviously recognize social media is it. It's the pillar. It's where we create the content and publish content. So there's a publishing side, but there's a distribution side. And so if I want my podcast to get maximum distribution, then I want to leverage my social media channels to kind of send it out. If I want a blog post to go viral, I need to send it out through those channels. And so that's where social media becomes that vehicle and really fully embraced as the pillar of content marketing. Okay? So, that's why your services will not be in decline in 2015. They're going to be on the incline as people take social media and they integrate it into their overall marketing strategy, right? And they put it as a cornerstone of distributing their messages to their world, their audience. Okay, so that's your bonus one, and those three trends to keep aware of. Okay, so let's move on to our second section that I want to cover, and this is 7 common social media mistakes to avoid at all costs. 7 common social media mistakes. Again, there's probably a lot of mistakes that we make, that I've made, but these are 7 of probably the biggest ones. And I want you to kind of, as I go through them, I want you to either think about your clients, think about yourself, and say, I'm I'm a victim of this mistake, or I'm doing it right now. And so maybe it'll be a wake-up call for you to say, listen, so my slides aren't advanced. Just one second here. Just want to make sure you see my slides okay. Okay, does everyone see that slide? It's just coming up as social media mistakes to avoid at all costs. Is that coming up okay? Just let me know if you're seeing that. I'm going to go back to my group here. Can you just let me know if you're seeing that? Yep, we're good now. Okay, so here's a little tip for y'all. I like to go full screen so you don't see all my little slide deck thing on the side. But the reality is when you go full screen with Google Hangouts, for whatever reason, it has that tendency to freeze. I was feeling like a risk taker today, so I thought I'd just go for it. And obviously, so thanks, Paul, for giving me the heads up on that. So you're all seeing 7 common mistakes to avoid at all costs. Let's start with, well, before we start with the first one, I'll tell you a bit of a story. I love to read those posts. If you can Google them, but I love to read those posts about like the biggest social media fails of 2014 or the biggest social media meltdowns, because sometimes even big brands lose their mind and forget about what they're doing, and it has such a negative viral impact on their brand and their business. One of those was, did you hear about the thing between LG and iPhone and Apple? LG is obviously trying to compete in the mobile market, and one of the representatives of LG tweeted this out, and I don't have the tweet word for word, but he tweeted out basically saying when iPhone 6 came out, you remember there was this talk about how the larger one actually bent, They could actually bend, it had a bend to it, or it was like not that sturdy or stable. So he proceeds to tweet that kind of tongue in cheek. Wow, I can easily bend an iPhone 6. How great is that? But the funny thing is, you want to know the funny thing is, he tweeted that from his iPhone. So the LG guy is bashing Apple about their iPhone and the supposed bend in the iPhone 6, the larger version, and he's tweeting it from his iPhone. It comes up as from iPhone. So that was like a great fail, a mistake. I thought that was funny. I don't know. I can't remember who did that. I don't know if they're still working for LG, but those are sometimes the tragic mistakes that happen in social media. Let's dive into mistake number 1. No strategy. This is huge. You've heard me talk a lot about this in past training, but there's still a lot of businesses that are going at social media with more of a shotgun focus approach and not really coordinated or strategic or systematic. And so there's less than 20, there's a study that went out by Social Media Examiner. Less than 20% of businesses would actually say they have a refined social media strategy. And so I think that's where again, as we mature in the social media space, and you even mature as a social media consultant, specialist, professional, VA, that we need to go and we've got to strategize better with our clients, and we've got to coach them better. We've got to help them put more of a calculated plan together that has measures in place so that they can evaluate return on investment and see tangible results. And so no strategy is a huge mistake. Without a clearly defined strategy, your client, again, could have great content. They could be publishing the most awe-inspiring tweets or Facebook posts, but not seeing the engagement because they don't really have a marketing plan or a strategy or an action plan in place at all. So mistake number 1 is no strategy. So if you look at I know a lot of you do client work in the social media space, but even if you look at your own business, would you say, I have a very highly refined strategy that's actionable and measurable? You might say, no. Or some of you might say, yeah, I'm all over that. Or maybe you're saying, yeah, my clients do. I've set that up for my clients, but I've kind of let my social media slide a bit. So again, that's a mistake. So we want to kind of reevaluate our strategy, and I'll give you a little bit of best practices on this a little bit later on. So mistake number 1 is no strategy. Definitely write that down. Mistake number 2 is one-way communication. Okay, so this is, I think we're getting better at this. We're using terms like relationship marketing. It's come out in the last couple of years, but entrepreneurs still make the mistake. They treat social media as a business publishing channel where they're sending great content, but it's just all blog posts, it's all video links, it's all content, which again, content is great, but it has to be tethered with conversations and probing questions and replying and retweeting and communicating and engaging your audience. And so I think it's easy, even for big brands and even for your clients, to get in this place where they're using scheduling tools. Y'all use scheduling tools like Buffer app or Hootsuite or things like that. Some like TweetDeck still, or Seismic or one of those ones, that you are scheduling it out and you're publishing some good content, but maybe the engagement side of the social media strategy is missing. And it's become very unidirectional, not bidirectional, unidirectional, where the audience is not communicating back. And that's a big problem. So one-way communication we got to avoid. So strategy, no strategy, and obviously one-way communication is a no-no. Again, and I think the scheduling tools that we have, they're automated and they make it easier for us, but they also can derail us if we're not engaging in building those conversations and that relationship with our audience. Okay, remember, social media is a publishing tool, but it's also a relationship tool, and it's got to be both. It's both an and. Okay, so that's mistake number 2. Make sure to write that one down. Number 3, mark this down. Too trigger happy with promotions. Okay, again, you think we would have learned something? We've been at this for, a lot of people have been at this for many years. But when you get into the launch of a product, or you got to drive sales for, you got to get your sales up, you then start to throw more promotional pitches or posts and less content rich, relevant posts. And so focusing too much on sharing, and this could even not just be promotions. It not could be, just like buy this or purchase this or join this group or be a part of this launch. It could be even sending too many people free offers. Like you're offering value, but you're asking for their name and email address all the time, and they're tired of that. And you're sending your JV offers, your colleagues who are your joint ventures, you're sending all their offers through your Facebook and your social media, and it's frustrating people. And so it could be just too focused on your own content. I think one of the great strategies in social media is to be what I call a great content curator, where you curate the best content in your industry that's so relevant to people, that's from other expert resources, okay, that kind of aligns you with great resources. It could be Huffington Post's links, it could be from Forbes, or it could be from TED Talks, or whatever it might be. So you want to balance your own content with focusing, and your own promotions with focusing on curating other great content. Okay, so it's definitely a balance to think about. Okay, so mistake number 3 is being just too much promotions, and it's an easy trap. Especially if you have clients that say, listen, I want to make more money with my social media platform. What can I do? So mistake number 4, not tracking social media ROI. Not tracking your ROI. Again, something that's still a bit elusive for businesses. It's becoming more mature, but it's still a challenge. People are unclear on how to track, measure, and monetize their social media campaigns. I think with some of the training we've done in the past, and we've obviously refined it, I think we've improved. We've helped a lot of our clients and our students put together those ROI sort of systems for their clients. So, there's nothing better than you being able to show your client tangibly how much money that they've made, or how many email leads that they've generated through their social media activities. That's where you become a great asset, and it also helps you to work long-term with them because they see the growth and the potential and the opportunity. So when there's lack of clarity, again, there's no sense of, are we doing well, are we not doing well, what's going on? So that's mistake number 4, not tracking social media ROI. Number 5, no consistent, authentic voice. Okay, again, this could be more problem of bigger brands, but you could get into this place where you're using formal language, corporate speak, you're sending out all these scheduled blog posts, but they're very non-conversational as well. I love the big brands. There's one that I'm trying to remember. It's a clothing company. I've lost their name. But anyways, they realize this, that if they just tweet from their brand, that they could be personal and conversational, but maybe they could have like this avatar within their company that's kind of like their social media gal. And that's not her name, but it's kind of like that. So she's their social media person, and so it's all her persona, it's her authentic voice, but she represents the bigger brand. Okay, so that's pretty cool that when you do that. So whatever client you're working with, you've got to work with them to help them find their voice. And part of their voice is also tapping into who they are, their interests, what makes them them, and that will help help to tweet out and post and whatever, share content in social media that is dialed into them, and that helps to build their own personal and professional brand. Okay, so people again connect. People connect with people, not social media robots. Scheduling tools have their place, but if they turn us all into robots, then social media will cease to exist, because we'll all get tired of this one-way, inauthentic sort of communication. Okay? So again, it's something that people have been talking about for years. About we got to be authentic, we got to be conversational, we have to be relationship-oriented, we've got to think first of others before we think of ourselves. All of that's important. Still not done a lot at times. That's mistake number 5. No consistent, authentic voice. Okay. Number 6. Limited to no multimedia posts. Okay, so you are tweeting out just your text, which is fine, but now Twitter obviously is integrating images in a big way, videos in a big way. It's a big part of their platform heading into 2015. So we need to be tweeting out more micro videos, more of those videos through Vine and through Instagram and through Facebook and through YouTube, and more photos that have text overlay, that have tips, or or little tutorials that are a photo. I love how they'll teach you something. Maybe it's a tip on how to use Excel, but they give you a little arrow. It gives you a little instruction, and it's right in the photo. Okay, so I think in 2015 we could really look at getting more creative with how we use images, because the images are big, they're here to stay, and we don't want to be too text-driven. And certainly, the more, and even Guy Kawasaki, who is a really, as many of you know, big-time social media thought leader, he almost would say use a photo or video with every post. So if you got a text or a question, put it into a photo and use it as a text overlay. Use tools like, and I think I've mentioned that in my social media checklist. I talk about Pixlr, Pixlr.com. It's a free app that you can get to quickly create cool text overlay and change up the colors to create these cool photos that you can then upload into Facebook or Twitter or whatever. So limited to no multimedia posts is mistake number 6. Okay, mistake number 7 is posting content that your audience doesn't want or need. And you might be saying, well, Craig, that's pretty self-explanatory. It is, but it's still, you can follow your Twitter stream for a while, and you might say, what was that person thinking when they posted that? And again, I know we want to be authentic, and sometimes we share things about our lives, but it has to be tethered with really valuable content. If you're someone that's sharing valuable posts, and people love, let's say, your leadership tips, and they just resonate with people, and then you post about how you're at the ball game with your daughter eating a big jumbo hot dog, or Frank, you know what, they like that because they like you. You've already kind of built their trust, so injecting your personality becomes more permissible. And so posting content that your audience doesn't want or need is a big deal. We've constantly got to be keenly in tune with our avatar, or our target audience, the person that we're speaking to. When you email list, or you tweet, do you have a picture of the person that you're tweeting? Your ideal audience, what do they look like? What do they like? What are their pain points? What are their challenges? What keeps them awake at night? What problems do they need solved? That's the picture that you want to see every time you tweet. Okay, it's got to be that intentional. And when you're that targeted, you will resonate more, and you will get more retweets, and you'll get more likes, and you'll get more comments as you grow your business. And so we don't want to miss the mark. And there's people that might tweet 25 times a day, but if 24 of the 25 are untargeted tweets, then you got to ask yourself, what's the point? I could get all those hours back of my tweeting and go build a house for children in Africa, or go build a school. I'm being facetious, but I'm saying you want to be intentional and purposeful with why every time you tweet. Okay. So gone are the days that people talk about going to the bathroom. When they were trying to experiment with Twitter and think, so you got to tell them what you're doing right now. Well, I'm just cooking up some hamburger helper. Just kidding. Okay. I'm going to actually come back so we can switch up the medium a little bit for you. Let me just stop sharing for a second. All right. So that covers. So far we've covered our trends. We've gone through some common mistakes that people make. Let's move into our third part of our talk today, and let's talk about skills. What skills do you need to be successful as a social media professional this year and beyond? And believe me, this skill set is evolving and adapting. Okay, and it's changing as social media changes. Okay? And as it grows up, so your skills need to mature as well. So with that being said, there's 5 that I want to unpack, and I've given a few honorable mentions as well. And the first one is to be a strategic thinker and planner. A strategic thinker and a planner. So we talked about earlier on, one of the big mistakes is that businesses don't have a strategy. Well, we need to be the strategic brain for our audience. Okay, so we need to think strategically about how are we going to, if we're going to be using Pinterest and Facebook and Twitter, how are they going to work together, and how are they going to work as part of a larger strategy, and how are we going to evaluate the return on investment of these different channels? What is our plan? What is our game plan? Okay, so we'll talk a little bit more about that later on. So that's one of the skills, is to be a strategic thinker and a planner. So someone that could be obviously well organized and can coordinate that. And that really goes into number 2 is actually you're seeing me, not the list. I'll show you the summary here in a minute. But write down the first one is strategic thinker and planner. Number 2 is project management. Okay? There's the term now being used that, it's not just social media specialists and consultants and VAs. There's social media managers, social media community managers, online community managers, because there is a management component to what we do. I mean, you're managing an editorial calendar. Sometimes you're managing designers that are doing designing images and stuff that are integrating into Facebook. You're working with video people that are sending videos that you can upload. I mean, and even still, if it's just you and your client, you're managing the client. You're managing the content that's going out. And so there's a lot of facets to you as a project manager. So being skilled, being a project management superstar is a skill that many people are asking for. Even if you look on job portals like Monster.com or Indeed.com, you'll see project management is one of the top skills that people are looking for in their social media managers for companies. Okay, so that's number 2. Number 3 is email marketing. Email, we've talked about this in past training, but there was a time where we thought that social media was going to replace email, that we'd no longer have the inbox, that people would just Facebook each other. They wouldn't actually email, and that's not actually changed. Okay, yes, we are texting and Facebooking and tweeting more than we ever have, but we're also dialed into our inbox every day as well, for the most part. And so Facebook recognizes that, and that they obviously integrate email notifications is very much built into all the social media channels. And so is email marketing. If you ask some of the experts in social media and say, what's the purpose, what's the business purpose of social media, a lot of them will answer say is to build leads. It's not to sell stuff, it's to build leads. It's to build an email list that you can then give away great content and ultimately give them great offers that you can build an ROI on. So I've always shared this, that I feel that email lead generation is the number 1 purpose of social media. Selling and building revenues is the byproduct of that. Okay, so if you were tracking the ROI of a funnel, it goes from Facebook post to email lead to purchase of widget or purchase of my coaching program or purchase of my book. Okay, so email marketing is a great skill to have. So you can even set up squeeze pages for them that can integrate into Facebook or that integrate with a Facebook ad and that are connected to Aweber or Entreport or MailChimp or any one of these other providers. So email marketing is a great skill to have. Number 4, and we have email marketing courses. We've got an internet marketing course. A lot of these things that I'm talking about, we typically have training that is attached to them. Number 4 is basic graphic design. You don't have to be a top shelf designer to really add value to your clients. Sometimes it's just using tools, as I said, like Pixlr. It's Pixlr.com, where you're doing some work. You're putting black and white photos or sepia photos to make them, just that more appealing before they go into the Facebook stream or as a part of a tweet or something like that. So having some basic graphic design, even with Pinterest, pinning, or even some of the work overlaying a nice tip on a cool photo that is uploaded through your phone to Instagram. We got some really cool tips, by the way, in our checklist on. People often think, well, all I can do on Instagram is really take a selfie of myself, or I'm at an event or taking pictures. Isn't that really all that Instagram is all about? No, I mean that's part of it. But for us as business owners, you can go into Pixlr, have this cool sunset picture, and you do a nice text overlay of a great text by Winston Churchill. You then email it to yourself, pick it up off your phone so that you download it to your photo gallery, and boom, you upload it as a photo into Instagram with a nice text. So Instagram, again, the value of it is not just pictures of you and your clients at conferences or beautiful scenery or wherever it might be. It could be also tip style, tutorial style images that are a part of your Instagram strategy, and that requires a little bit of basic design skills. And I say basic. I do this stuff. I have VAs that do this work for me as well. But I do this work, and my skills I would definitely call them very basic, rudimentary skills. Number 5 is writing and editing skills. That's a real. If you look again at a lot of job descriptions, writing and editing skills is right up there. Okay, so being, especially when you're crafting tweets for your clients and maybe they're signing off on them, or you're writing posts, or you're even blogging for them, to have that writing and editing, or even to kind of vet their content to make sure it's coming across clear, is really good. Is really a great strategy. So having that, we actually have a writing course, and we put that in because we knew that a lot of your clients, whether they were asking you to do marketing-related tasks, Infusionsoft-related tasks, at some point they were also looking for some writing and editing skills as well. So really important. Also, some honorable mention: search engine optimization. Being able to, when you're posting in Facebook, or not in Facebook, sorry, in Pinterest, and putting a description, but you're obviously optimizing it for certain keywords. When you're posting in Google Plus, making sure the title in Google Plus is optimized with keywords that are going to be found in the search engines. When you're creating a YouTube video description, integrating keyword, optimizing those for keywords, the titles, so that they're being found in Google, your YouTube videos. All of that requires some search engine optimization skills, and it's very much integrated into social media work as well. Some other ones: Analytic Mind. Obviously, there's more talk on what is your social media ROI, social media return on investment. So it requires you to get to know things like Google Analytics and so on and so forth. So that's another one, is having an analytical mind. And then content curation. Okay, this is someone that you're just good at going out, researching and finding great content, blog posts, PDFs, white papers, other tweets that you can retweet, and sharing it with your client's audience. So being a curator, you don't have to be the expert, but you could be an expert curator where you go out and grab the right content that resonates with their audience. That's a really good skill to have. Okay, so just to summarize this for you, I'm going to go back to my slide deck here for a minute. So that was 5, and then 3 bonus ones for you as well. So let's bring this up, share that with you. So we've got strategic thinker and planner. Number 2 is, these aren't in an order, but these are all important. Project manager, email marketing, graphic design, writing and editing, search engine optimization, analytical mind, and content curation. Okay? All really great skills to have. Okay? All right, so we're moving on to the final part, and I've got some other exciting things I want to unpack for you, so stick around because we're getting into some really good stuff here. Let's move on with 7 ways to rock your client's social media platform in 2015. Okay? I hope that I've already given you some good value. Again, download that checklist, because that checklist is golden in terms of some of the great ideas that I've included there as well. But let's start with step number 1. And we've talked a little bit about this, but let's dive into it a little bit more. I believe, and this covers business in general, especially if you're working with clients in the online space, that tends to be a very rapidly evolving industry. As in my experience online for the last 10 years, I know Paul's been on between him and I think we've been online for 20 years combined. So working in this space. Step number 1 is to set goals for your social media platform in 90-day cycles. Okay. Have you ever read this book? It's called The 12-Week Year. Great book. If you pick it up if you can, it's typically we've always talked about setting our goals for the year, setting our New Year's resolutions, and the reality is my business and Paul and our business, and yours might be the same, it moves so fast. The industry moves so fast that to create this long-term goal, which is a year, used to work with more traditional businesses, but not in the digital space. It doesn't work as well. And especially when it comes to social media with how much it evolves as well. Even platforms come and go. So you want to work with your clients and build a strategic plan for them in 90-day cycles, and be able to cross-compare in 90 days. So let's say Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, quarter 1, quarter 2, so on and so forth, and look at it. That's where you start to be able to create, drill down to some great data and say, you know what, Q1 for our social media growth and ROI from 2015 versus 2014 was dramatically different. But so you start to be able to give them trends based on times of year, depends on seasons, depends on holidays, which might determine growth or decline in your social media stuff or your results. So look at it in 90-day cycles. I think 30 days is too short. 60 is not bad, but I think 90 is the sweet spot. And if you want to do it well, pick up this book. It's a great book that kind of gives you a framework on how to do it for your business, but certainly you can translate this to social media. Okay, so when you're working with your clients and you're building a plan for them, let them know that the year has just shrunk. It's now 12 weeks. We're not setting a plan for the next year. We're looking at what we do for the next 12 weeks, and then the year starts again, and we're looking for another 12 weeks. I really like that. It helps me to not get overwhelmed by setting these long goals, these lofty goals, where I just don't know where things are going to be at that time. But you do need to be ahead and be a forethinker, so 12 weeks is a good benchmark. So that's step number one, is to set your goals for in 90-day cycles. Step number two is make sure, and talked a little bit about this already, but I want to reinforce that Guy Kawasaki said that you add in everyone. I don't know if you added in everyone, but video and photos need to be a part of almost everything you do. There's been lots of things, lots of studies done on eye tracking studies. You ever read stuff on that? It's very interesting where they track the types of things that our eyes are attracted to by on a web screen, on a web page. You know, we're attracted to people's faces, we're attracted to beautiful sunsets, we're attracted to the color red, or whatever it might be. Those tracking studies reveal time and time again that our brain processes images at such a more rapid rate than we read. Like, it's like beyond, I don't want to throw out some random number, but it's like ridiculously more as you look into brain science. And so we're constantly in tune with images, and we can process more images than we can words. Okay? So if I'm thumbing down my news stream and I come across these images, I'll dial in still to some different images because my brain can process it that much faster. So there's a psychological or there's a physiological component or brain component to why we want to post more photos. And people just like looking at photos and videos more. So in the social media realm, a picture truly does speak 1,000 words. Step number two. Step number three is to consistently curate and create and curate content that your audience needs and wants. Talked about this earlier, but I want to reinforce this because you want to work with your client. If you're working with a new client, you want to make sure that your client understands everything they possibly can about their audience. And if they know their audience better than anyone, they know what hurts their audience, what gives their audience joy, what causes their audience grief, and what problems that their audience has. If they understand that, your content should be designed to teach, inspire, fuel passion, solve problems, sometimes entertain, but it's dialed into that audience. And so when you're grabbing TED Talks or YouTube videos or podcasts, a great podcast, and you're feeding it into social media, ask yourself the question, does my audience want or need this? And if the answer is no, don't post it, because it waters down and it reduces the level of engagement that you'll see, and it kind of derails the whole process. So consistently create, losing my voice, consistently create and curate content that your audience needs and wants. Really important, okay? Step number, maybe put an asterisk beside that one in your little workbook. Step number 4, remember the formula. Content to conversation to relationship to ROI. Okay? Content to conversation to relationship to ROI. Okay? That is the formula. And I think I meant to put it down in like an actual equation down there, and I think I forgot that. But you get the point. We are publishers first. We have to remember in the social media realm, it's not relationship first, it's actually publishing first. Because if you don't publish anything, if you never have a tweet or you don't publish a comment or anything, then nothing will get started. So it starts with your content, starts with publishing great content, and we talk about getting your first Twitter profile, getting 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 posts out there, then start to build your following, because you don't want them to come and see a profile that has no content on it. Okay, so content leads to conversation. You reply to other people's content, which is really important. They retweet and reply to your content. That leads to a conversation, which becomes a relationship. You start to see people that you kind of get to know in the social media realm. You get these social media relationships, and they may not be as rewarding as your personal relationships, but they are relationships. As you get to know certain people, you recognize certain people. As you build that trust in that relationship, it leads to ROI. Content to conversation to relationship to ROI. That is the formula. And regardless of whether we're teaching this year or the next year or 10 years from now, this is always going to be important. It's not going to be suddenly like people are cold-hearted, they don't want relationship anymore. Relationship's so passé, that was 2014. People just want facts and data, and yeah, that's not how, as Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we've got our physical needs, but then right above that, we've got our needs to, our emotional needs. We've got our need to belong, our need to connect. It's a part of who we are, and it very much has to be a part of how we connect with people in the social media space. Step number 5, moving along. Master the fine art of creating social media editorial calendars. There's a ton of them out there. We've taught on this a lot, and I've kind of got this figured out a little bit more. Even I was talking to my wife, she's really good at spreadsheeting and like, how do you put together an editorial calendar that really makes sense for you and your clients to keep track of your publishing, to keep track of themes that you got going out in the social media space. Maybe it's Tip Tuesdays or whatever you have, Fun Fridays, or if you go with sort of thematic content. How do I get a good editorial calendar that works for me? And I feel like ones we've put in the past have been decent, but kind of come up with some new ideas that I will be sharing in the near future here regarding how to create a simple editorial calendar that really makes sense and it's easy to use. Because the reality is, this is what happens. You could download the one from HubSpot. You all know HubSpot, great marketing company, and they share great content. But even their editorial calendars require you to have a master's degree. I'm just kidding. No, they require you to be really smart, and I'm not. So, so I look at them and I'm like, okay, I'm overwhelmed by this spreadsheet, and I haven't even scheduled anything yet. That's not what you want. If you're feeling that, can you imagine what your clients are feeling? So you want to master the fine art of creating really easy-to-use editorial calendars, because that's a chance that your content's going to become more consistently published. Step number 5. Okay. Step number 6 is to live by the less is more principle. We've talked about this in the past, where you find success in a couple social networks before adding one. In our programs, we talk, we train on 7. I don't encourage you to do all 7 right away, but I encourage you to look closely at which ones fit your client. Where are the audiences most likely to hang out? Are they tweeters? Are they in Facebook most? Are they avid pinners and Pinterest? Are they watching YouTube videos more? Where do they hang out? What are their needs, and how can we meet them in the right channel? Okay, so that's really what great targeted social media marketing is all about. But it starts with doing less is more. And even like, there's a lot of talk now, and you'll see that in my download I've given you in the 30 steps. There's something like tweets under 100 posts, or 100 posts. Tweets under 100 characters get 17% more engagement than tweets that are above 100 characters. Okay? So for whatever reason, when we give people less to think about, they tend to engage in it more. Okay? That's kind of like, I study online education a lot, and even that's changing, where the whole point is when you teach a lesson, you want to teach one core idea and then build on the core idea, so you don't give people too much that it overwhelms them. And like I did tonight, I've given you probably lots. It's overwhelmed you. But we want to live by the less is more. Find success first before you go for 7. You could do 7. You could be in 7 channels and be doing them all really mediocrely, in a mediocre way, or you could be really killing it with one of them. Or can you say that for a relationship channel? Killing it, rocking it, doing it extraordinarily well. Okay, that's step number 6. Okay, step number 7 is a really important one. It's one that I think you all need to pay close attention to. How's that for some build up? Step number 7, and I feel based on my experience in the last 6 years that this is a no-brainer for those of you that have taken social media from us before. Those of you that are in our community that are involved in social media, either for your own business or as a consultant, is to sharpen your skills this year in social media. We are releasing tonight. Some of you may have already received that. There are some upgrade emails going on for those of you that have taken our program before. But this is the first night that we're opening our new Social Media Specialist 2015 program that I'm really excited about. And I think if you want to sharpen your skills for social media and you want to play a bigger game with your clients, and you want to develop your income in this niche in your business, you must take this course. I've done a lot of research and study, and I know that our courses have been the best on the web, and I think they're only getting better. I think we teach them better than we ever have before. I think we're more dialed into the trends than we ever have been before, and I feel like this content is going to be so user-friendly for your audience. I think it's interesting, you know, as technology gets more complicated, it's like it becomes more simple. Things are more easier to use. Like the iPhone is a fairly simple tool that's backed by a very sophisticated technology. Google has a sophisticated algorithm that's backed by, you know, that's a simple tool to use. And I think for me, so social media has gotten more sophisticated, but I've gotten better at teaching it. I can teach it more simplified than I ever have, but it works for a more involved, mature social media world. So that's always been the benefit of our programs, is that we teach it very practically. It's very step by step, and you really feel you're walking away with tangible things that are not just theory. They're actionable things that you can do. So let me talk to you a bit about this program, and I'd love to take some of your questions and make sure you download that freebie that I've given you, those checklists. The 2015 version is going to be really good, and it's basically broken down into what I call the 4 L's. If you know my teaching, I love acronyms and the mnemonic association and all that good stuff. It's social media live, library, lab, and life. Live is basically for the next 5 weeks, starting on February 24th. We're going to be running a 5-week sort of boot camp. 5-week. Each session will be approximately about 2 hours of valuable, current, fully up-to-date training on social media that you are going to absolutely love. And it's going to be better than we've ever done it. And so, because I think, again, we're better at teaching it than we were before. So that's Social Media Live, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. You don't have to be able to attend every live one. I love it if you do, so we can interact live there. But we obviously have the recordings and training and all that, you know, indefinite access to all that, which is important. The second area is the library. We are refining, obviously, the templates that we use and the templates that you can kind of plug and play into the work you're doing with your clients. And there's more here than we've done in the past, and we've got a great library of resources and checklists and templates that you're going to have access to in this program. That's our library. Our lab is where we drill down into tools that are not as easy to teach in a live session, but are better for more one-off tutorials, and getting you to be familiar and up to date with some of the greatest tools, social media tools you can use right now. Those will come in the Social Media Lab that you're going to love. And then Social Media Life. Social Media Life is going to be our brand new Facebook group. There's real intentionality for me starting a new group. We've had one for a while, and those of you that are in that group and you join this program, obviously you'll get access to the new group, and I'll explain in a moment why I'm starting a new one. But this is going to be exclusively for our 2015 people. Our other group obviously has people that have from a few years that have been taking the program, and we're teaching some new things. We're sharpening your skills, and we want to connect very specifically with this new group for a couple different reasons. Again, you get lifetime access to all of our recordings, and then as well, just a quick rundown on the schedule. So February 24th, it all kicks off. It's module 1 and 2. Week 1 has 2 modules in it, which is the building blocks of a profitable social media service. So we're going to start by, we haven't done this before, we're going to start by looking at your service or at your potential service and saying, if I'm going to create a great social media service where I'm going to have great clients and I'm going to be making a good living at this, what does my business need to look like? What framework do I have to have in place? Okay, so we're going to start there. Then we're going to get into talking about strategy, obviously creating a more refined social media strategy as social media has evolved. And then from there, we're going to move into week 2, where we're going to talk about LinkedIn and YouTube, and that should say module 4 rather than module 2. Module 3 and 4. So LinkedIn, we're going to spend some time on LinkedIn. It is by far gone, the biggest business-oriented social network, and it's gotten better. LinkedIn is one of those social networks that we thought would come and go, but they've become better over the years and very more effective. And so we'll talk about how you can strategically use LinkedIn. YouTube is not going away anytime soon. I think people don't use it to the maximum of its potential, so we'll be having a module on YouTube. And then week 3, March 10th, is all Facebook. Facebook requires a lot of time, obviously a lot of tutorials and things like that. So we want to do it justice. We want you to understand how to use Facebook in this new world where advertising is a part of the mix, but it's not the full meal deal. You can run a great, successful Facebook marketing program and not have be spending a lot of money on ads as well. Ads are a part of it, but they're not the whole thing. So we'll be spending some time on Facebook. Week 4 is Twitter and Instagram. Okay, and we'll be spending quite a bit of time on Instagram because of its growth, because of its prominence, and the cool things you can do with it to help your clients grow their business. Okay. And then finally, week number 5, March 24th, is module 8 and 9, which is Pinterest and Google+. Okay, so Google Plus is the last one. We probably spend the least amount of time on Google Plus. I'm not saying that it doesn't offer there's not great value in Google Plus, because there is, but I'm drilling down to show you this is exactly what I would just do for Google Plus in light of the fact that Google authorship is gone now. But we'll also talk about Pinterest. Pinterest is not growing as fast as Instagram is, but it's still a strong platform that can drive some serious traffic and leads to your clients' businesses, and we'll show you exactly how to do that. And some of the new Pinterest has really come out with a lot of pretty innovative tools as well. Okay, and someone was just asking, came in about the time of the classes. Again, we've changed our times over the years, and I know some of you like earlier times if you live on the West Coast. We have a large global audience now. VA Classroom has grown up over the years, and so our classes will be more around the 5 p.m. Pacific, so they will be later for the East Coast. That might be a little bit later for you in Europe. It'll definitely be later, but certainly, like I said, you'll have access to the interactive Facebook group. You'll have access to all the recordings and resources. So just because that time doesn't work exactly for you, don't miss out on this new training, because it's going to have a huge impact on your business, whether you take it at your own pace and your own scheduled time, or you take it live every week with the group. Okay, so don't miss out on that opportunity. Okay, so that's week number 5 as well. Okay, so moving along, we got some bonuses that I want to share with you. First of all, bonus number 1 is how to build social media packages. I think we all have struggled with this. How do we position our package so that it makes sense and so that we're charging enough, but we're not charging too much that people aren't buying them? How do we find the sweet spot on our rates? And so what I'm doing for this one, I'm bringing some experts in that have been with us for a long time that are going to it's going to be a practical workshop to kind of walk through some of their packages and how they set up and give you some ideas for refining your own. Because there's one thing to get trained on social media, but then you got to package it, you got to sell it, you got to position it as a service. And so we want to make sure we do a better job at helping support you in that. Okay. Bonus number 2 is getting more into ads. It's not just about Facebook ads anymore. Twitter's ad platform is pretty cool, and promoted tweets are becoming more popular. YouTube ads get a lot of engagement, and a lot of the ROI can be really good on that. And so I want to look at it on a macro level, look at social media advertising as a whole, not just Facebook, and kind of cover the different areas that I think you might find helpful. Third bonus, this is a big deal, this one, and this is something that we have not done before, especially those you listening that have taken our course before. We are building what I call a social media job board. It's going to be integrated, obviously, into our brand new Facebook group. By far, the most requests that we receive through our Client Connect system, through our Find Your VA page, which is, by the way, very well indexed in Google, and we get a lot of hits on that page, is social media specialists, social media VA, social media consultants, the most positions by far. And we are going to change that page. We're going to actually redesign that page so that social media, our new social media kind of program becomes more prominent. So people that are looking for social media services, it becomes more visible that's a big deal of what, certainly we have other jobs and lots of people do all sorts of different niches, but that's a big specialty of ours, and that will be more prominent. And so by doing that, we fully anticipate as we market that the jobs will grow even more. And those will all be funneled into that Facebook group that we're going to be setting up. So the cool thing is not only will we have the training, but our hope as we grow that you'll have access to a lot of different opportunities that you otherwise wouldn't, and to help you build your business. Okay? And it's not like one of those things, I guarantee you're going to have 10 clients through our job board. Obviously, I would never say anything like that, but my goal is to ramp that up, and we've got a lot coming in already, but to really grow that so that more clients are finding the best people on the web, which is our students, I believe, are the best, have the best minds. And it's not just because I've taught you. It's because you have taken what you've learned in VA Classroom and you've gone out and been proactive and built a great business for yourself and become a serious thought leader for many of you in your niches. Okay, so that's another bonus as well. Okay? So finally, this is where you go access it. It's at vaclassroom.com/SM2015. Again, I feel like if you have at all been involved in social media, there is no better program to take than this one. I feel like with the current stuff that we're teaching, integrating some stuff more around Instagram, more around micro video usage and all those things, you're going to find this course so relevant as you head into this new year. And we always make it affordable. There are courses out there in the social media space that are in the $1,000, $2,000 range. People have always asked, when I started my business, they said, well, why aren't you charging that amount? And I always wanted to have a large audience be impacted by my training, and that certainly is what has happened. And so it is affordable for you. So you could certainly check that out. And I'll tell you, our regular price is $297. We've got a 2-pay option. So when you think about the return on investment that you can receive by landing one client, possibly through our portal, possibly through your own efforts, and working with them on one project, just a fraction of that project would pay for this course. And so, but without this course, obviously people can go out and find all sorts of social media blog posts and tips and all those sort of things. The cool thing was what we've done is that we've consolidated it all into a system that is workable for the service provider, for you that are providing the services, and it just allows you not to have to kind of go out into all the social media noise. You can get it all in a practical, easy kind of step-by-step system, and that's what has made this program so, I guess, effective for so many people. So it's www.vaclassroom social media /SM2015. I highly encourage you to grab a seat in this. Don't hesitate. I promise you, the return on investment will be far greater than the kind of the low costs of the course as well. Okay, and if you have any questions, you can go to vaclassroom.com and you can hit our support link on at the top of any one of our pages and connect with our team there, and we will answer any questions that you have about the program. But definitely go check it out. Grab your seat in it. Certainly there will be some limited seating, and secure your spot in this program that will start here in the next 10 days. And so really excited to bring this for you. We haven't done a full launch like this. We've done a lot of micro sort of clinics and things like that. But this full launch is, it's been a while. And so I'm excited to be able to update and give you the most relevant training that's going to impact your business, okay? Because I love to hear the stories about how you are using this to grow your business. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to my wife, Kelly, my co-founder. It means a lot to our partner, Paul, as well, as he seeks to see you, just enlarge your impact and be impacted by the training that we offer. Okay, so that's it. So you might have some questions on some of the content that I've talked about. You may have questions on the content we've talked about today, or even the offer. So feel free to go ahead and post questions. I see a ton of comments have come in here, and some of you have probably been interacting with each other because you know each other as well. And yeah, Heather, I'm glad you like the job board. I feel like we are, and the more, it's funny because the more groups I join in the entrepreneur space, when I even let them know that I have this business via Classroom, my Facebook messages are funneled. Like I get a ton of messages saying, I have this need or I have this need, and a lot of them are social media related. A lot of them are internet marketing, email marketing. Those tend to be a lot of needs. E-commerce and Infusionsoft, but social media always tops the list, and it's a great skill for you to kind of develop and refine here this year as well. And good, Robin. I'm glad the how to packaging. Yes, it's the marketing side of business. Sometimes the training side is fun, right? It's fun to learn this stuff, but then I got to market my business, and I got to set packages that people may or may not like. So how do I do it in a way that works? And so the best way is I believe in modeling, the power of modeling. Look to see who's doing it well, and I want to bring some people in that are doing it really well. and that you can say, okay, I like that, I don't like that, I could see this working for my business. It's not about copying, it's about modeling is about looking at what other people are doing, seeing the strengths that maybe you could apply, and then crafting your own stuff as well. Okay. Great, lots of questions. Yeah, got the start time. Robin, thanks. Yeah, you got the best. We got the best internet classes. Do you offer any training with podcasting, or know where we could find a good one? Yeah, great question. And we've done some podcasting training. We may do some more. A good friend of mine, I'm a part of a podcasting group because I have my own podcast now called Teach, Inspire, Profit. And Doug Foresta he's got a great program. It's actually pretty reasonable too. And I'm bringing him actually probably in the next little while to do a talk for you, and you can get a sense of what he's like, and maybe the program might interest you. So yeah, I could definitely hook you up with that as well. Okay. Okay, sorry, good question here. Pam's asking, one big factor for me is when I see someone who offers great content but has thousands of followers and tons of engagement, it seems that engagement becomes totally one-sided because the poster can't possibly engage with hundreds of comments. It's like a big black hole. Good question. It is, unless they have a great social media specialist. So those that have a big following and they are building their business, and maybe they grow a big business, they then start to have the budget to have a team that works with them, where maybe there's a social media manager that oversees the team. There's other ones that are kind of moderators in the different social media channels that can comment back and forth. Yes, there's integrity issues if you're representing a celebrity and you're commenting like you're them. That does happen. I'm not telling you should do it or you shouldn't do it, but certainly entrepreneurs can leverage as they grow their platform. They may not be able to do it all themselves, but that's why they hire social media consultants and specialists and people like yourself to support them, so that they can be freed up to do other things as well. So yeah, it's a black hole, but having the right systems in place, having the right, even the right strategies around, there's your editorial calendar, but there's also what I call your points of engagement. When are you and your clients scheduling your points of engagement in Twitter? So for example, are you working with your client to make sure they're in there 3 times a day? Do they have set times? Have you worked with them to say, listen, I want you in there at 10, 2, and 6? And they may not always be able to be there, but you start to help them with their time to ensure that they're not just publishing content, but they're also involved in the conversations, and they're going into Twitter and they're retweeting a half a dozen tweets, and they're replying to some different tweets, or they're going and commenting on another industry thought leader's Facebook page, things like that. Okay. Yep, someone's asking about recording. Certainly everything is recorded. Robin, Doug Foresta is Foresta, Doug Foresta. I'm a part of his podcast group. It's called Stand Out and Be Heard. It's an awesome group. That group actually needs a lot of support in social media and VAs as well. But yeah, so that's Doug. Yeah, his name is Doug Foresta. You can check out his blog and his podcast at Coach Zing. It's CoachZing. I'm Canadian. Z or Z-I-N-G. CoachZing.com is his podcast. Great podcast. I think I was his 100th show. I was one of his guests on a show a while ago. So cool. All right. Any other questions, even on stuff that we talked about? I'm certainly happy to talk about our new program. I'm excited about it, but I also want to get any social media questions you have as well. Okay. Karen, I see your post. I guess it is public. Sorry, first of all, sorry to hear about your husband, and understand the timing certainly may not be right for you. So, yeah, all the best to you guys. I hope you're okay. I hope you're doing okay. It's tough. Any other comments or questions? If you've got a doozy social media question, this is your time to ask it. I don't consider myself to be, I'm the almighty social media expert, but I have a lot of knowledge in social media, and I can support you and answer a lot of questions for sure. Good. All right. Well, hey, I've kept you longer than I expected already. I hope you found this masterclass helpful. And again, 2 things. I would highly encourage you to sign up for our course. It's I think the URL, Paul, you could probably put that up again for people to see. Yeah, there it is. It's www. Excuse me for a sec. www.vaclassroom.com/SM2015. Definitely secure your spot. We're going to have a great time. It's going to be a great new Facebook group, fresh new content, new job board, and lots of opportunities for you to grow your business here in 2015. Secondly, I encourage you to download your free checklist. That in itself is a valuable tool for you, and I hope you enjoy that. Print it out, put it on your wall, or memorize it, but apply some of those principles and those tactics to maybe the social media work you're doing right now. Okay, great question. Tonight's webinar will be recorded for sure, and we'll be sending it out so you can have listen to the replay and have access to this content as well. Thanks again for listening, everyone. I appreciate I appreciate a lot of you sticking with me for so long. I've been with many of you for so many years, and I look forward to having a lot of you in our program. Go ahead, go check out the offer now. vaclassroom.com/SM2015. This is our bread and butter in terms of one of the reasons we exist is we do want to be your social media professional development hub on the web. Thanks, everyone. It's been a pleasure being with you tonight. I hope you got some nuggets, some good takeaways, and please connect with our support team if you have any questions. We'll see you soon. And I will say hi to Kelly. She appreciates all your support as well. Thanks. Appreciate it. Good, Nita. Glad you enjoyed the tips. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of the day or evening, and we'll talk to you soon.